Okay, we're gonna make this key rack here. So we gotta get a top piece, the side pieces, and the front piece. The two front pieces. So what we gotta do is get some of these boards over here. With the long ones, right there. Over here we got the short ones. The long ones will become the top. The short ones over here, they will become the sides and the front. So what we got to do is go to the bandsaw and rough rip these. Remember when we were doing a cut going up and down the grain this way? That's a rip cut. So we're going to be rough ripping these on the bandsaw. We're going to be rough ripping these on the bandsaw as well. So let me show you what that looks like. I have some templates set up here, and so template 1 says long one, and it says rough rip template key rack top. So this is a bandsaw operation. I should write that on there. So we're gonna go to get a bandsaw. All right, I'm gonna grab a long piece and lay the template like this, with an edge even with this edge. And then get a pen or pencil, doesn't matter. I'll use a Sharpie because it's easy to see. So that is 3.5 inches because the top itself is 3 inches. So we want a little extra room to work with. So the rough rip is going to give us a little bit of an extra space to work off of there. So the next step is going to be to use the rough rip templates. We have a rough rip template. We got sides and front key rack, and this again is the band saw. So I grab a shorter piece now in a different stack and lay this even with an edge like this, so it's nice and even. I'm going to draw a line and then scoot this template over the other edge and again draw a line. The reason we're doing 2 lines is because we want to, as best we can, cut this board directly in half. And when you have 2 lines, you have this little space right there, and as I'm cutting on the bandsaw, I can cut that down the middle a little easier. All right, so what I'm going to do next is go to the bandsaw, cut these on those lines, move on to the next step. All right, now we're gonna do a face joint on one face and one edge. So I'm just gonna joint one face and one edge on each board. So I'll get you over here so you can see what I'm doing better. That's good. We're only looking for about 90% of the board to be flat on a face. All right, now I got all 3 faces flat. Or one face on each board. Blade stop. Bring my pencil in a little bit and edge joint these on one edge. flat face goes against the fence. The flat face goes against the fence. This one you want to make sure it's all cleaned up. So that kind of stuff, we want to make sure it's all cleaned up. Go to the table saw, and on the table saw we're going to do our final ripping operation here. So we got to have our flat face down and our flat edge against the fence here. So you want to make sure it's not wobbling on the table saw and it's not wobbling on the fence. I'm going to lower my blade down a little bit by using this wheel right here. I'm going to make sure the center wheel is loose, but not too loose, just a little bit. And I'm going to lower that. And as I tilt that wheel, the blade comes down. And we wanted about a 1/4 inch above the work. Template here that says 3-inch setup for the table saw for final rip for the top. This is going to be our top piece. We're going to be using our top board here. What I'm going to do is set up the 3-inch up against the blade here like this, and then I'm going to run the fence up there. What I want to do is make sure that the blade is not too tight. Right there I can barely spin it. It's pinching that blade too much. I'm gonna use my fist here and kind of bump out the fence a little bit. That's too loose. I got a gap right there now. So I gotta tap that in there with my knuckles. Just gonna give it a little tap, tappy. And right about there is good. So I'll do that for my 3-inch rib cut. Make sure that my flat part is against the fence. Flat face is down, and make that cut. Alright. While I'm waiting for that blade to stop, I'm going to grab my 2.5-inch setup for the final rip on the table saw for sides and front. So, same idea, I'm going to get that set up where it's not too loose, not too tight. So it's barely touching that blade. Barely touching right there, you can barely see that blade moving. So, side, strap in, and make my cut here, in, flat face down, flat edge against the fence. Barely missed it there. Alright, well, I'll wait for that to stop. Placed off through the strap in the bucket. Alright, this one here has a little bit of a bandsawed edge. That means it's a little bit thin right there, but it'll still be okay because we don't need the whole piece for the sides. We only need 10 inches of it, so we should be good. Just barely. Okay, this next cut is from Mr. Stevens to make. I'm going to raise the blade up as tall as it goes, and I'm going to rip this down to a little bit over 1/2 inch. So I'm going to rip this down to 5/8 of an inch, which is 1/8 inch bigger than a half. And I don't want you doing this cut yet. got all our pieces cut down to 5/8 of an inch. We'll go to the planer now. And we're going to plane these down the rest of the way to 1/2 inch. So again, I'm going to raise up the wheel right here. I'm going to turn the wheel up until when I put the piece of wood on the metal, it gets to that 0 point on the tape measure. So if I bring it a little bit tighter there. So I'm going to get that piece of wood on the metal, and then the top of the wood on the 0 point of that tape measure. Let's get a new camera first. Again, I want you to get the machine set up, but I don't want you using it until I get here. I want to get these down to a 1/2 inch. I'm going to go 2 more times. 1 and 2. Ugly side up on the planer. Ugly side up. Ugly side up. And now we have all our boards ready for the next step. Get me on the planer, get me on the table saw. Thanks.